And we are back again, and don't worry, this won't be the only video this weekend. You'll get treated to another one, and who knows, maybe if you're lucky you might get more. I'll see how generous I'm feeling. But today, there's always today, the first thing, the thing we're going to talk about, thinking you're going to get two topics in one video, God, now you're dreaming. What we're going to talk about today is a thing called inverted paranoia. Now, what does that mean? Well, invert just means like to flip something upside down, and then paranoia is a fear or I was going to say it's a paranoia of other people, but that is the word. You can't describe the word using the word. It's essentially like a fear of everybody else, or thinking or having thoughts along the lines of that you think everyone's out to get you, or that people genuinely, or that you have a view that people for the most part are bad people, and that, you know, that they're not doing things in the best intentions, like they have bad intentions towards you, and everything they do is self-serving and it's selfish, and, you know, they're secretly out to get you, and they're not really, you know, actually supporting you anyway. They're actually doing it for their own ends and all that kind of jazz. So what this inverting of paranoia is like, kind of flipping it upside down, because we've talked many times about how, you know, having negative thoughts and just genuinely being in negative is actually not good for you, because back in the days of the Stone Age and shit like that, like, yeah, of course, being negative actually was a positive, you know, it was a benefit, because it meant that you were less likely to engage in dangerous behavior or to take risks, because a lot of what it was like back then was about survival, just like pure survival. But we've got that kind of, for the most part, at least in developed nations, you know, there's a fair amount of countries around the world where like basic survival day to day is not a concern. Like, you know, you're okay, like you're alive and you'll survive, right? But we still have that hard programming in from, like, you know, thousands of generations into us. You know, we can't change that we're, you know, biologically coded like that. But what we can do is we can be aware of this and try to move towards a positive mindset and viewing things in a positive light, and you know, a positive emotions, because what that does is, in this day and age, taking risks, like, I mean, obviously jumping out of a plane without a parachute is a risk not worth taking. Like, you know, being in a positive or negative mindset, it's not worth taking. But I mean, taking risks in the sense of, you know, trying things that you wouldn't normally do, or, you know, in my own instance, in my own life, was, you know, going down a creative path in the form of, in my case, it was writing, or it could be, you know, taking a risk by trying to apply, like, you know, for a new job, or try to do a little bit of a career change, and, you know, try things out in a new industry, you know, go down a new path and stuff like that. You know, these are risks that you are taking, because, you know, it's not what you're used to. It's not what you're normally comfortable with. It's not your normal. So doing that is, you know, a bit of a change. And to be honest, it's those people that are willing to take those risks in this kind of like modern world that are, you know, at a better advantage, and are the ones that can really make some great change happen in their life and in the lives of those around them. And that's just because, you know, if you're negative, that means you have a very reserved judgment of the future. Meanwhile, if you come from a positive mindset, you have a hopeful and optimistic viewpoint of the future, and the future is something not to be scared of, but to see as an opportunity. Whereas a fearful kind of negative person in that kind of mindset is going to see like I said, the future as something to be feared, and is going to cause anxiety, because it's about the unknown. While the person who's positive knows that it's still, like, there is unknowns to it, but that doesn't mean that it isn't worth pursuing, because the unknown could be quite profitable, not just in a monetary sense, but in a kind of developmental sense personally. And I guess getting back to the whole concept of an inverted paranoia, instead of thinking that people don't have good intentions, or that they're, you know, I'm using this as an extreme case, like, if someone has an inverted paranoia, it's like, that's the very extreme case of this, but even to a mild extent, it can be still kind of toxic for you and not good. Whereas if you can shift it towards, thinking that people do have the best intentions for you, not saying they always will, and that's the thing, it's just like, you are making an assumption, and it is a bit of an assumption, and people will, if someone doesn't have good intentions towards you, like, and that has become clear to see, don't just go on assuming that they still have good intentions. Like, yeah, you can identify that person as, someone who's not worth associating with and not worthy, not worth your time, and it's someone you should try and cut out of your life as much as possible, because you've uncovered that they're not a decent person. They're not, like, they haven't got good intentions for you. So it's like, yeah, drop that person. But what you'll find is, if you do kind of carry this assumption from, into your life and into how you carry yourself, you'll find that a lot of people do actually have at least decent enough intentions. And just like how we've talked previously, it's like, whatever you're constantly whatever you're looking for is what you'll find. So if you're looking for evidence of people being mean to you, or, thinking badly of you, or having bad intentions, you'll always find them. You'll always find those answers. You'll find evidence for that in their behavior, how they carry themselves, how they speak, whatever. And even if it's fabricated, like, even if in your mind it's not actually true, none of that is actually true, but to your mind will convince you that it is true. But the reverse also goes for in the positive. So if you think everyone's positive, like, is positively aligned towards you, then, making that assumption means that in many respects you will find evidence for that, and there will be, and that's a good sign. And in that attitude, like, if you're finding that evidence, it's going to put you in a good, if you're already in a good mood, but like, or in a good mindset, but it'll put you in even a better one. And from there, it's also kind of is that whole attachment, or like attraction thing. Like if you're, negative in nature, it's like, you're going to attract negative things towards you. Whereas if you're fairly positive for the most part, and you, like I said, carry that assumption that other people are positively aligned to you, in the end, the inevitable thing is, people will, like, the people around you and the people you associate with you, and, just whoever you come into interactions with, will almost, like, naturally just, and subconsciously pick up on that energy that you're bringing into the situation. And even though they might not actually be in the best mindset, they could be a bit of a Debbie Downer, but even then, they'll be more likely and have a higher probability of at least treating you well, or, treating you with good intentions. And I think that's the thing that is, or it's at least one thing we should kind of keep in mind when we're kind of going about our lives, because I think that's really important when it comes to helping people, is that both you and the person that is being helped and assisted both are on the same page when it comes to what the intentions are towards this, and that this is out of, like, charity and goodwill. It's not out of any self-serving or negative context, because that just creates a much more stable and safe environment for, prosperous kind of relations to take root. And once that kind of and I think once you take this long enough, you'll notice that many of your relationships or connections or interactions with people become far much more enriching, not just for yourself, like, but it will also be a better experience for that other person as well. Like, because if you're both coming in with good, if you can shift other people's, mindsets or attitudes, at least while they're in your presence, or, when they're thinking about you or whatever, then that is really the secret to life. If you can do that, damn, and you can do it consistently, you figured it out. Like, you figured out one of those core skills in life that will essentially open so many doors, and doors that you would have never even imagined, just because and how crazy is that? You're just coming in with the right mindset, and just being able to come in with the right mindset can open doors. Like, that's crazy. Like, your thinking can actually really, it's always very hard, and and people do, say that, you can't prove this. It's like, but in my own personal experience, in my own life, I've seen this, and I've read too many things and too many people's own life stories and and biographies to think that this can't be some random chance thing. It can't not be. Like, it has to be true, just because it always seems to result, if this attitude is carried over time, because like with a lot of things in self-development, people don't really look about it over time. They just look, oh, well, I did it for a week and I didn't immediately change my life, so obviously it's the thing that's wrong, not me. Which is just complete, like, when you actually, sound it out like that, it's just absolute lunacy. But it's difficult to track these changes over time. Like, you can only kind of go in a very qualitative sense, because you're talking about really minute changes that occur over years, if not decades. And in the 5 years that I've been kind of going with this way of doing things, man, things have changed. And yeah, a lot of it has been driven by me and the things I've done, but it's also like, life isn't a one-man show. You have to coordinate and cooperate with others, and if you can't bring the best out of people, it's like, to be honest, a lot of people have dreams of greatness, but if you can't bring the best out of people, you're not even fit to be a mid-level manager. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't bring the best out of people, you aren't even fit for like middle management. You should just stay as a desk, just like a 9 to 5. Well, not 9 to 5, but like, just stay at entry level. Like, you're not cut out to be a leader or someone who can really drive much change, because you just do not have, you do not have what it takes, I think. And that is my personal opinion, but that's also just what I've seen in my own life with other managers and other people. And it's what I've read about and seen seems to be the case. Who knows, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like I'm touching on something that has a semblance of truth to it, like, a seed of truth or a root to it. So I guess that's going to be today, like, this video for today. Like I said, expect more coming soon, and thanks so much, like always, for like watching my videos and paying attention and putting up with me, because I know sometimes I mess up and don't always do right by you, but you do right by me, so I've always got to give respect and appreciation to you, so thanks.